Hello. Hi. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Amber. Thank you all for inviting me. I'm just going to read a few poems from my collection, Two Brown Dots. This first one, I think this is the first time I've read this in public, so yay. This is a poem about my neighborhood that I grew up in and that I also currently live in. This is called Where Good People Live. We've got this circle of grass with an old American sycamore spread 100 or so feet wide, its branch arms taking up space I learned not to. When it's a drought, a neighbor's hose finds its way to the root mouth of the tree. Someone really cares about that tree, my husband says. I learned last year that this neighborhood was established as a whites-only space. A clause in the deed made the homeowners promise to never let a Black person live here. In 1987, my white passing mom and my dark-skinned dad bought a tiny brick house here, its back pressed to the train tracks, dark in the shadow of sycamores. It might be a fact that we were the first to integrate this historically white space. The promise not broken, but surely bent. Our melanin meant for the Philippine sun, sallow in Kentucky winters, years and years before we saw another dark face. The skeleton beams of a house where my little sister first met racism, some boys throwing rocks and slurs telling her to go back. Kids feared my brown dad with the long ponytail and nicknamed him the Cobra. A girl up the street couldn't play with me because I looked dirty. There's a sign when you get here that names our neighborhood, an acronym of the streets that make us up: Wabash, Goodrich, Pensacola, Lackawanna, WGPL, claiming it's where good people live, a shade different from the original 1940s ads for these plots, bragging only the best kinds of people will be approved. Okay, so I have two more poems left out of the three. So this one is Self-Portrait as Manananggal. And the Manananggal is a Philippine monster. She's similar to a vampire, but she has bat wings and she like wreaks havoc at night and like sucks people's blood and stuff. But she's a little different because she splits in half at the waist and the top half of her goes and does stuff and the bottom half just chills. So she's pretty cool. I'm very interested in this monster as sort of like a metaphor for Asian Americanness and having to split yourself in two and exist in two different ways as separate and different people. So this is Self-Portrait as Manananggal. They ask me where I'm from, and the answer is hundreds of years old. Is that last name Spanish, from Spain? I sharpen my claws and answer carefully. Originally, I say, because colonization. They tell me they need to read up on that. When I split in two, they don't understand. They speak louder and slower. They explain what should be done instead. Where are you really from? Or, I don't see color. I leave my brown legs and ass in a secret place and rise above, meaning aerial, bat's eye view, inhaling through my nose and counting to 10. I come back and combine with myself. I fill in the bubble marked other. I use a hyphen. In the Philippines, they deter me with seasoning, salt, garlic, ash. They reflect me ghostly on billboards, erase my melanin with papaya soap and Photoshop. Here, I am repelled by questions, mispronunciation, fetish, and the phrase, I know how it feels to be. Okay, so this is my last poem. I recently heard this poem read by the Kentucky poet, U.S. Poet Laureate, Ada Limon. You might have heard of her. She read it on the slowdown, so my friends are calling this my hit single. So the form of this poem is a hustle, which is in couplets, and every couplet ends in the same word, and the last line usually has the poet's name in it. So this is Hustle for Dog Eaters. Someone yelled, That dog gonna end up in a pot of rice at Margaret Cho, and she tells the story in her stand-up as a joke. When I waited tables, someone's dad ordered fried lice. Someone's brother made a dog meat in the egg rolls joke. In 1904, they shipped 1,200 Filipinos shivering in a train car from Seattle to St. Louis for a human zoo, no joke. They forced them to eat 20 dogs a week, a spectacle for the fairgoers, the butt of the joke, the root of the joke. Once, a coworker barked like a dog because someone else ate Chinese food, but calm down, it was just a joke. When I told her it wasn't okay, she cried, called me a bully. She asked me in tears, Danni, why can't you take a joke? Thank you.